Hey everybody, welcome to Mommy Musts with Mary Grace, where I talk about all mommy musts and things that I have learned along the way raising 3 little boys. And today I'm going to talk about a topic that I think is a really important one, and one that I struggled with through the years, initially with my first son, and then became kind of a pro at it over time. I've had 9 years now and 3 kids. To learn the sort of tips and tricks associated with traveling with little ones. So that is my topic for today, is how do I travel? How do I fly with a baby? I'm also going to do another video on how to fly with older kids, so bigger kids, so elementary school age kiddos. So don't hesitate to take a look at that video as well if you've got older kids that you want to learn how to more easily fly with, tips and tricks that I learned along the way. So here is a whole bunch of stuff in front of me, and I bet you're probably thinking to yourself, oh my gosh, that is so much stuff. But some of it actually goes with me on the plane, and some of it gets checked. And so I'm going to just talk through what I do that goes on the plane with me, and then what I take with me that needs to be checked. And I'm going to kind of do that in 2 separate buckets. So let's start with what do I take on the plane? So actually, when I was pregnant with my 3rd son, who's now 1, I invested in a backpack for airplanes. Initially, I tried carrying purses. I tried carrying a purse plus the diaper bag. And as you know, you're pushing a buggy through the airport, and a purse and a diaper bag and all these other things just were way too cumbersome. They were falling off of my arms. It was hot. It was heavy. You're plugging through the airport. You may have more than 1 child. And so really having a backpack, and they make cute ones. I think this one's pretty cute, is a really, really reasonable way to go. So here's how we pack. Always have my trusty diaper changing system. If you do not own one of these, I cannot recommend them enough. I love them. When I'm at a restaurant, I yank this out of my purse. I don't even carry a diaper changing bag anymore. I yank this out of my purse and I just take it with me to go change the baby's diaper. Same for at the airport. This actually has a clip on it. And so I unclip it, I hook it onto my backpack, and I carry it along with me so I can store some of my other stuff in it. And when I'm going to change the baby's diaper, I literally just unclip it, and I'll show you what's in it. And we just sort of unroll it and go. So it is an amazing system. It's the diaper changing pad plus 2 nets and this little bag where you can put dirty diaper, there's plastic bags to put dirty diapers in. It's awesome. I pack this with, as you can see, a whole bunch of diapers. I always do a washcloth, either to dry my baby's bum or to clean up spit up if it's clean and I haven't dried their bum with it. I always have one on hand. I feel like it's super useful. You can get it wet and you can clean them off if you need to. There's a million uses for just having a washcloth around. And then I also have my baby wipes. So this is amazing. What you can do with this, which I do a lot, is I fold this up and I actually stash my extra change of clothes right in here with it. This has a lot of diapers in it right now, so I would probably only have 2 diapers in it if I were to do this. I would stash an outfit in here in case we had a blowout, a spit up, a throw up, whatever. And then I fold this whole thing up, I clip it together, and I clip it onto my backpack when I'm going through the airport. Like I said, it's awesome. So if you're on the airplane and you need to go up to the lavatory, you just grab this one thing. It's a one-stop shop item. If I'm in the airport, I grab this one thing and I go change the baby's diaper. Super, super amazing. Very, very user-friendly for travel. Honestly, this is, in my opinion, I could do an entire mommy must just on this one thing. It's literally that amazing. It is the one thing, if I'm going to recommend this to anybody, any mom is saying, what do I absolutely have to have on my list, my baby registry? This is a must. I can't emphasize enough how much I love it. So, included in there, I already mentioned, I always bring an extra change of clothes. I do bring a blanket. I find that bringing something on the plane that is comfortable for the baby, that is soothing for the baby, a blanket that's familiar to them. Certainly if they're little and they can't have blankets because they're too young, this would not be the item you would pack. But if they're at the age appropriate age where your doctor and others are saying this is a recommended item, it's allowed now, it's safe. I always pack a comfortable blanket. I use this on the airplane, and then actually when we get to the Airbnb or when we get to the hotel, I have found that having a very comfortable item for the baby to sort of snuggle with that's familiar to home helps ease them into a totally new environment. So this is a great item to have both for the airplane and for the hotel or Airbnb or even a family member's home, wherever you're staying. That is item number 2. A couple other things that I stick in my backpack. So all this here would go in my backpack. This actually would clip to it because you'll notice my backpack's not huge. If you have a big enough backpack that you can stick it into it and you don't need to clip it, that's fine. I always have a water bottle or a drinking bottle. This could be a sippy cup. This could be an actual baby bottle, depending on how big your child is, your little one. But I always have something to drink. Now, with airports, you cannot bring the water or the liquid in if it's water or something like that. So what I typically do is bring it in empty, and then when we're walking through the airport to get to the gate, I fill it up with water, and then I have it in the backpack. I will say there's been a few times with my oldest son, who's 9, where we were initially flying with him out of the country a few times, and I didn't do this. This seems like such a benign thing, right? Like, oh, they've got water on the plane. Why do you need to do this? It was before they were doing drink service, and he absolutely had a total and complete meltdown. I didn't have water for him. I didn't have a snack for him. And we were sitting we were trying to taxi. The plane wasn't going anywhere. It was sitting on the runway for whatever reason. And so there was no service for a long time, and holding him in my arms on that airplane, screaming and crying because I didn't bring a drink and I didn't bring a snack, which is the other item I'll mention. I always have crackers or something that's age appropriate for the baby. Could be, again, a baby bottle with milk. Could be something like this, which is those fruit pouches, or this is a fruit and vegetable pouch, whatever you've got that your baby likes. Is absolutely key for those times where they're not doing the drink and snack service, or maybe your baby just doesn't want or it's not age appropriate for them to have that, whatever they're serving. Always have hand sanitizer. I cannot tell you how many times my kid has gotten sick because their immune systems are still not fully educated. Putting them on an airplane and they're touching every single surface. I always bring hand sanitizer. Obviously, this is completely your preference, but I always have hand sanitizer in the bag. I also will a lot of times carry, they make hand sanitizing wipes, and I'll wipe down the tray and the arms and the buckle, just to try to do one more step of, 1 more ounce of prevention in terms of getting them sick. I want to be able to enjoy my vacation or my trip to see family. And so trying to keep them healthy in that moment is key. There's things that I could get exposed to on that plane that I'm going to be just fine because I've got an educated immune system that the baby just won't be. So a couple other things that I pack. So I pack books, board books, whatever is an age appropriate book for your kiddo. I do lots and lots of reading. I'll also pack these types of things. If you've never seen one of these are made by Melissa and Doug. I love them. These are, it's called Water Wow. So you fill up this little pen with just a little bit of water, and then you color on this, and it shows up as if you're painting on these boards, and there's a whole bunch of different ones, and then they dry on their own. So you just keep getting to redo them. There's not, you don't need to erase or do anything. They just dry on their own. They're amazing for travel in the car, on the plane, taking over to friends or families, whatever, to keep toddlers. These are probably more toddler engaged. So here's the last thing. You're probably saying, why do you have stuff wrapped in presents on here? Here's a little tip that I learned. And I actually learned this with my 3rd son, who's now 1. We were flying out of the country, and I was thinking, oh geez, I've done this a whole bunch of times. Like I said, this is my 3rd son. And it's great if they've got stuff that they already know that you bring, and you know that's going to be engaging for them. But this was a longer flight, and I thought, they like these things, but they're more familiar with them. And so I wanted something that was novel that they might want to play with a little bit longer. And so I actually went to the dollar store. That's what's in these items. I went to the dollar store. I spent $5. You could spend $2, $6, whatever, you can actually go into your toy box and get out toys that the baby hasn't played with in a long time and wrap those up because they'll be novel. They haven't seen them in a while. Whatever you want to do, but this is a pretty inexpensive way to entertain them. And I wrapped them. These happen to be wrapped in, you know, Christmas holiday paper, but you can wrap them in whatever you want. And then I put 2 in the backpack, and I put 2 or 3, and then I put 2 or 3 in the luggage for the flight home. And I wait. I do not give these presents to the baby until the baby starts to get kind of fussy. And then I do one at a time. So the baby gets one. It takes them a while to get this paper off. And so part of the reason that I wrap them is that it takes longer to get this paper unwrapped. It takes longer. It also, the paper can be a toy for them because they can be crunching it and playing with it and tearing it and doing whatever. And then they can play with the toy that's inside. I get random little things. So this is a plastic slinky that happens to be in here. These are random flashcards that have animals on them. And so we can kind of go through and look at the flashcards. Whatever it is, I just wrapped up a few things. And then, like I said, I saved 3 wrapped ones to put in the luggage so that on the flight home, there's 3 more new novel items. And certainly you can keep these ones that they opened in your backpack if you want. So that's how I pack my bag for the baby. Always, always, always extra clothes, snacks, diapers, hand sand, and then these little toys. Now, when we're actually traveling, one of the things that I always do, and I do this both for my husband and I, but I also do this for the baby and for the older kids, I have a go bag of medicine. It's got Tums, it's got ibuprofen. These are obviously not for the baby, these are for us, Pepto for us. I always have infants ibuprofen or children's Tylenol. I always carry those things with us. Stuff happens, and being prepared with a medicine bag is, I think, the way to go. The other thing that I bring is one of those hot water bottles, if you've ever seen them. They're like a little pouch, a cloth pouch, and you can screw the top on. You can fill it with hot water to put on muscle aches or pains, or you can fill it with ice and cold water if somebody gets hurt and bumps their head or something like that. And they're totally collapsible. You just dump it out and then you refill it at the hotel or at your family's house or wherever you are. I bring those because I think that people get hurt, and you know, my kids are constantly bumping themselves, and my husband and I even sometimes need them. So those are a really quick, sort of easy thing to throw in this bag and have available. The one other thing that I bring with us is the baby monitor. This is a completely optional item, but I have found that when I'm at a family member friend's house, when I'm at an Airbnb, when I'm at a resort or a hotel, if I'm out on the patio or I'm downstairs or I'm in a completely different room, similar to like you are at your house, it's really nice to have the monitor with you to be able to kind of see what's going on with the baby and to be able to hear the baby if they wake up and not worry about it. So this is an optional item, but I think it's one that I tend to default to bringing because I think it's really user-friendly. 2 more things that I want to share with you. So this is a duffel bag. You can see it's the shape of a pack and play. I usually will try to avoid at all costs bringing a pack and play with me on a flight. You can check them. So check, you know, your flight, the specific carrier, your airline carrier, and see what you can bring for free. Typically you can bring pack and plays, car seats, all of those types of things, and check them for free before you actually go through security. And then at the gate, you can check your buggy if you bring that with you. So you don't actually need to check it before and carry the baby all the way through. You can check it at the gate. I will avoid it if I can, bringing a pack and play. Hotels usually have cribs or pack and plays that you can use. Call ahead and ask. Many times Airbnbs or rentals that we've gone to will have a crib or a pack and play that we can use. So I always, always, always ask because like I said, I try to avoid bringing it with me. Family members, I will many times, if they don't have one or friends that we're going to visit, I'll ask if they have one, if they know somebody that we could just borrow one for the week or for the time that we're there. So if you can avoid it, because these are bulky and huge, and I'm sure you're thinking the same thing I am. It's like, I don't want to carry one more gigantic thing. But if you do need to bring it, they actually make these really cool bags that are totes. It's just like a carrier bag that you can stick it in, and then you can put your luggage tags on it and check these at the airport. So these are really convenient, and I just wanted to mention it. I think actually we got this on Amazon. The one other thing that is really, really nice that is wonderful if you're flying is the car seat backpack. Now, certainly if you are flying with a baby that is going to be a lap child, these are, you don't need to carry this through to the airplane, but you might want a car seat for when you arrive at your destination, and you might want to bring it with you. If you do, these are lovely. Again, you can check these before you go through security, just like you can the pack and play. It's wonderful. If you are taking the baby onto the plane and buying them their own seat, and they're going to have the car seat on it, these are just as wonderful. My husband and I many times will carry the car seat in the backpack, so in this backpack carrier, all the way to when we get on the plane, and we don't actually take it out of that bag until we get to our aisle. We take it out of the bag, we put the car seat in the seat, and then we put the baby in it. One of the things that I will mention, and this probably varies by airline carrier, but in many cases, they require, if you do have a car seat, they require that car seat and the baby in the car seat to be in the window. So be prepared for that when you go to book your flight, that if you're buying a dedicated seat for the baby and it is in a car seat, you need to have them by the window in most cases. Check with your airline carrier, but just a helpful tip that I learned the hard way. One other thing that I'll mention is if you are having a baby in your lap, or you're not, doing a car seat because maybe they're a toddler and they're 2 years old, and you're just putting them in the seat on their own, whatever it is, if they don't have a car seat, get the aisle. I made the mistake with my husband. My husband likes the window, and I, of course, by default sat in the middle with our first son. I had him on my lap. He was a lap child, and we had a stranger sitting in the aisle. And that stranger fell asleep, and my toddler was ready to bounce off of the walls, could not sit any further. And I couldn't just put him in the aisle to kind of let him walk around and move. I couldn't just get up to walk around and move. I couldn't get up to change his diaper. So if there's any tip I can give you, if they are not strapped down in a car seat, pick the aisle if you have the choice. It will make your life so much easier to allow them to move and for you to kind of move around with them. So these are my helpful tips and tricks. I hope that they have been helpful for you. These are my mommy musts. If you are flying with a kiddo that is bigger than a baby or a toddler, and you're interested in what I would bring that I have learned that is helpful for elementary school kiddos, please take a look at my next video. And I hope to share with you my mommy musts about how to best travel with them. So thanks everybody for joining me today, and check out other mommy musts on my YouTube channel, Mommy Musts with Mary Grace. Thanks so much.